Hello guys, hope you're doing okay. Right, so, retopology. We're still doing retopo. Today, more than likely, will just be spent on hands, kind of improving them, and working a little bit on the fingers. So it'll be a relatively basic stream. I'll be just doing some poly modeling of fingers and that sort of stuff, just to get like a final topo in place. Obviously, we've kind of blocked out some fingers in their general locations, but each finger individually is still extremely basic, so I kind of want to actually model them properly. Which obviously requires a little bit of work, but shouldn't really be any issue. So yeah, we're going to model a finger, get that attached. In terms of off-stream work, very little this week, so I literally just removed a ton of polygons from the feet. I think it's half the polygons it was. The actual count of edges up here, sorry, along there hasn't changed. That's still 32, I believe. 64 because it's symmetrical. But yeah, so this hasn't changed, but this has quite heavily. There's a random bump there I'll need to smooth out later. But yeah, so general process, we're still, obviously we need to finish the body and head retopo before we do the clothing, because once I've got this in place, I'll transfer the sculpts to it, make sure that we've got a somewhat final shape, and then I can do a final sim of the clothing and do a retopo of that. Clothing is going to be broadly a zero mesh job, just because I intend on kind of simulating later, so I don't need like, you know, really easy, perfect, well, not perfect, but like I don't need like perfectly straight quads like I've got on the arms and stuff, because although the clothing will be rigged, it'll be simulated after. If I do some simulation, which I probably will. But yeah, so today's, yeah, just fingers. I'm trying to remember if I did any other changes. I think I played about with the amount of polygons on the boobs, but really nothing major. But yeah, so if you got any questions, feel free to ask. I do need to find some reference for hands, for specifically CG models. So I'm just going to say finger modeling. In terms of like where the reference sits, hey, of course, when I search finger modeling, I'm going to get a lot of actual hands. But yeah, in terms of where the reference is, so we've got, obviously the hands are always quite basic in the paintings. So we have this, we have that, which I'll need to model in. But beyond that, the fingers are normally just like kind of silhouettes almost. Like they're very basic, because it's not the point of the art pieces. That's kind of fun. But yeah, so I think the best we've got is this one and this one. This one is particularly helpful because it shows that the knuckle is a very sharp line because of the sharpness of that shadow. So that gives us a general idea as to how sharp we should make the joints. Granted, the lighting here is a little bit strange. Like this shouldn't be lit, but that's a tiny detail that we don't have to care about. But yeah, so I guess we just start modeling some fingers. So in terms of CG models, so I'm going to model the fingernails in as a single piece. I'm not going to do a separate geometry for them. As much as I kind of want to, I don't think it's really worth it. Only reason I'd want to is because the fingernail has a fundamentally different shading. But I can do that with ISO maps in my shader, to be honest. I don't really need to care. So I'm just going to search finger modeling topology, and that will give me some like low poly models to use as ref. Like see kind of how people approach nails and stuff. Although I've got an idea in my head as to how I'll do it. So I'm just trying to find if there's any like really nice, like stylized. In fact, yeah, let me search stylized hands. Oh yeah, I've also got a new keyboard, so I don't know if you can hear it anymore because this one's a lot quieter. It's much more satisfying. I've changed from a Logitech G Pro to a Newfie Halo 75, and it's so satisfying to use. Shout out to Rahul because his hasn't arrived yet. But yeah, so stylized hands. What comes up for these guys? Yeah, I quite like this like top sharp thing that a lot of hands have going. Which does require different topo. But obviously we need to make it a bit different for our character, but... I'm going to add female to that. Oh, perfect. Stylized hands, female. Something like this, although I think the knuckles are a bit too strong for what I want. That's quite nice. I'm just going to search stylized hand sculpt. Just so I can have like shape ideas. What is that? Ooh. I know it's a style thing, but it kind of threw me off a little bit. I need to find a really nice hand. Polygon is always an amazing resource for like nice shapes. If you don't follow Polygon, by the way, is it spelled? Yeah, there we go. Folllygon. Go check out his channel. He's really good. He's also really big, so if you're here, you're probably aware of who he is. Definitely recommend his channel, though. He's so good. That's quite nice topo. Well, visually nice topo. I don't know if that is technically what you'd want. That's very nice. Okay, let's drag that in to our hand ref. Let's put hand ref down here, I guess. Okay. I really like that shape. I didn't want to do that. And then, yeah, we'll grab the polygon hand as well. Why not? Cool. So, close that. And we're just going to model a single finger. It's the way we're going to go about this. So let's model a finger. So what are the limitations that we have? There's also another change I'll need to make, which is going to be rotating these edges. So like the forearm has a twist, and I like the amount of twist, but I don't like the fact that my seam for the middle of the hand goes kind of elsewhere. Like it goes... Let me just find it. I think that's the seam for the middle. Yep, that's the seam. It ends here and somewhere in the armpit. Yeah, and I don't really like that. And technically that's self-contained, but I'd much rather it go up here. Which means we just need to reduce the amount of twist in the forearm. And that would allow us to connect everything back up. So yeah, we're just going to rotate this around at the wrist, which is quite easy to do, luckily. But that can come after we've done the hands. So in terms of the actual fingers and limitations we have, we need to make sure that our fingers have 8 edges. Again, this is symmetrical, so it's going to say double the amount. But at the point where they join the hand, in order to not change the hand topology too much, we need these to be 8. Now there are ways we can get higher. Like if we need more polygons, we can bevel and kind of run loops along this and run it back on itself. That's not really a big deal, but it's something to kind of be aware of. But yeah, so I guess we can just start sculpting, right? Or just start modeling, because we will be again poly modeling this eventually. Right, outline. I've got way too many of these open. Let me just close a few. Close tab. UV editor. Close tab. Tool settings. Close tab. Hypershade. Close tab. Bifrost, definitely close tab. And Yeti graph editor, we don't need that for a while. In fact, we don't need it for this project. So let's get that closed. Cool. So we have wrist guide, which is actually not our wrist guide anymore, it's the full body. So let's put that into there. And we've got digit backup, which is a kind of non-necessary thing now. So let's hide blocking, and let's model a finger. So we're going to start with a cube. It's all good things to start with a cube. And let's just... I'm going to start by smoothing this guy. And then run this into... Let's think. Generate... deform. Sculpt deformer. Where is it? There it is. That just makes it more circular. So now I can delete the back of it. Like that. And extrude that back. We're going to turn history back on. So this is the start of our finger, believe it or not. So let's start off. We want the flat finger at the top, because I really like that shape. And we also need to plan out the joint locations. How is it divided? It's half and then half again, right? So if I make this, for the sake of simplicity, if I make the finger the full length of the grid, and then I can thicken it up to be like, you know, whatever actual size I need. But I think that will do for now. So if we go around halfway, which is there, and we go halfway along there, a little bit further. Is that how it is? Let me just look at hand. These are stylized hands, but that's not got the right amount of joints. Looking at my own hand, it's actually kind of tricky to figure out. I think the first knuckle is halfway, and the last one is kind of like the second third, I guess. So that should go about there. We'll find out if that's wrong later, I guess. This one's a bit too angular for now, so let's focus on this one. So we want... I'm wondering, do we want to smooth this? Work with more polygons? I guess not, if we want to connect it to the current hand. Again, I do kind of want more topology on the hands. What the hell is that doing? There we go. Yeah, I think that amount of polygons is okay. We're just going to have to do some fucking topology. So, let's add a loop right there and just scale this. Okay, so pull this towards the front. Not that much. Okay, and then the profile is flat towards the top. So let's just grab these guys and scale those in. To that. And the middle point is actually higher up. Like this shouldn't be in the middle. It should be like there. He's looking at the shape of my finger. Although not that high. It should be like there. And a bit wider. So more like that. And then from the side, obviously this needs to come way back. So let's just grab you. Okay, something like that kind of works. And fingernail wise, we're not going to worry about quite yet, but we need to start getting knuckles and stuff in. Do I want to do knuckles in actual topology? Let me just solo this guy. Bevel that. So that kind of works. Multi-cut. We'll go there, there, and there. Still getting used to where my keys are on the new keyboard. It's throwing me off. Okay. Okay, connect these guys up. Okay, do that. Let's target weld this guy. Okay. Just go halfway, and then just flatten that out. Go there, flatten that out. Let's do topology symmetry there. And slide these edges. Okay. What the fuck happened there? When did that happen? Collapse edge. Collapse edge. Collapse edge. Collapse edge. There we go. I feel like all of this should be moved backwards a little bit. There we go. Oh, topology symmetry is broken again. There we go. Hey, Bowden. How's it going? Might get rid of that bevel for a bit. In fact, yeah, let's go to those for a while. So we're going to go merge target world. Come back to those later. Okay. That knuckle feels too far forward, although it might just be a case of because we're missing the nail. I feel like we do need to smooth it once, don't we? To get enough topo in there. So I'm going to go up to 16 edges, see what happens. First off though, let's crease these two. Crease tool. What's that going like that? Why is it doing that? That's so weird. I feel like something's broken in here. We just merge all the verts. What is it doing? Okay, let's go surface. No, right. Crease tool. I'm going to set that to 0. Yeah, we'll just leave it. Okay, so smooth. So now we can actually start getting things like the fingernail in there. And what I might do is just take it into ZBrush as a base mesh and just see what happens. So, a fingernail, we need to kind of extrude this, or bevel the faces even. And now, fuck about with this until something works. So, first thing we need to do is move that up and forward. Move you down and back. That allows it to tuck in. We need to pull these guys forward, so we need to get topological symmetry. Pull these guys forward. We'll need more edges to help the shape later, but now on my hand, these are also raised. And then on this side, these are raised. So then these guys, smooth them out that way. I feel like that should be connected. Like that. Okay, so this guy needs to come back this way quite a lot. And up, so it's not sitting so separate. How does that... Okay, that fits like... How the fuck do you do this bit? I feel like these need actually separate loops. Like what we might need is something a little bit different. So undo all that. I don't know if we can go back far enough. I'm wondering if what we need is a bevel along that. That will allow the fingernail to kind of do its own thing. Still got this issue here, but it might help. What happened there? How do I get around this? Do you need to come over this way? And obviously all these loops over here need to be relaxed the hell out. Don't know what just happened there. Let it edge flow these guys. Think like how is it easier for me just to go sculpt this? I think it is, and come back and re-topo it. Let's get ZBrush open. I suck at poly modeling. Okay. So let's. Hey G1. Okay, back on pen. from the matcap grey. Something more like that. Back, let's just move it back. Okay. He's enjoying watching me modelling Maya. Well, that's a bad choice on your part. Modelling a Maya is just the worst. It's really not fun. But that's because I suck at modelling, so. Okay, let's get... Let's increase the resolution. Geometry, Dynamish. I need to get some pictures of hands. Female hands. So obviously we don't want anything with too long a fake nail. So trying to find something that has the kind of shapes that I want. These are good. Okay. PRF, nice over here. Okay, that'll do for now. So, get any pictures of the inside of a hand somehow. I was looking for pictures on my screen. Okay, it's like round at the top, pinched in the middle, so it's like got this kind of thing going. Let's turn off. Oh, I've already got it turned off. Let's set the intensity lower. And this needs to be further back. That makes more sense now. Top needs to continue going around. That's the cuticle. Just get it really fine. Okay, so we want not like that. It needs to be nice and wide. Okay, we got the first knuckle, which is actually quite narrow, and the second knuckle, which is quite thick. And it kind of stays thick behind there. Smooth this out, which I'm smoothing with the clay buildup and the low Z intensity. I always prefer that. Something like that works well enough for me, shapes wise. See, now I've modelled it, I feel like I could do it in Maya without too much difficulty, so let's try like that. Fans, I remember seeing something about a brush called Smooth Directional. Like, I remember hearing about it. I don't know if it's actually a thing or if I just misheard something. Smooth crease, smooth parts, smooth directional. I don't know how this brush works. Oh shit, is it only smooth in the direction? Oh my god, that's amazing. Let me try this. So if I smooth that way... Okay, now if I smooth that... That's amazing. So I can smooth across like that. And it won't disrupt these forms. That's insane. So that allows me to smooth out all this without affecting the crease I've done on the border. Oh, that's so good. Thank you, internet. I can't remember who posted about it or who mentioned it, but... Okay, so we got that. Got that. So we'll use this as like a physical reference in our scene. I'm not happy with the nail shape though. Let's quickly tweak that. Let me set my shadows. Render properties, shadows. Inflate tool. That smooth directional is amazing. Although I can imagine it creates, yeah, these artifacts quite quickly, so... That is amazing, though. Very topology destroying, though. Definitely a tool that you don't use often. Where's regular smooth tool? In fact, can I? Oh, okay, the alt one still works. Sweet. So I can use smooth directional to like smooth the general forms, and then the non-directional version. There we go. Okay. There we go. Finger. Although I feel like it should be more narrow at the bottom. Like that. There we go. Yeah, so now I've played about with the forms. Let's go back into Maya. So what we've learned is that we don't need this. So we can collapse that. What we need is this. So that all this stuff can go out further. Can I slide all this? I can't just slide it. So let's slide that out like that. Slide you out. Slide edge. Okay. And slide you like that. Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's bring that finger in so we can just trace the shapes. We'll simplify it a little bit. We'll also, in fact, let's knock off a little bit of volume there. I think it's too... Actually, looks alright. I think it's too thick, though. That works better. Cool. Let's get that exported over. Just plug in. Decimation master. Preprocess. Cool. Then Z plugin. Let's take that down to 20k polys. It's only a finger. Decimate current. Cool. Then turn off groups. As much as they probably don't have an effect right now. Export. Okay. Let's go to Mona. Modeling. ZBrush. Exports. Retopo. Finger base. Still getting used to the new keyboard, it's really bothering me. There we go. So, get that imported. File, import. Nope. Modeling, ZBrush, exports, retopo, finger base. Weird coincidence that they're almost identical in size. Okay, so let's set that to a live object. And then you are going to go into topo mode. Actually, I think it's already in. Topology. And then let's go into quad draw, which is in the modeling menu. Okay. So now we just drag things until they're vaguely in the right place. What the fuck is going on here? It's better. Did I accidentally insert another loop? Did. Where's your opacity? There's a way to change the opacity of quad draw, and I can't remember where it is. You're so mind blown. What by? What I'm going to be able to do now is insert a bunch of these loops. Okay, I am wondering, I feel like these polygon edges should continue off though. Like this should come up here. Oh yeah, the quad draw smooth is like the most satisfying shit. I'm gonna have to move all this further forward. Okay, so now we've got all those in place. Let's just space all this out a bit more to kind of force it to hold the shape that we want. Okay, so now we've got this. What we'll probably do is... Wait, my knuckles are not in the same place as the creases. Okay, we can Maya model that. That's fine. Okay, so the key thing is that we've got 16 edges now. So what we need to do at this point... I'm going to need to tweak this a bit. But what we need to do now that we're got 16 edges is either do crazy edge termination or just smooth the body once, which makes the head easier to connect, but does boost our poly count quite a lot. So, I mean, I've never really been too worried about optimization, but it's still not a good habit to always just throw polygons at a problem. Howdy, Becca. Usually about 10, 11. It'll be open now if you were to go down. What does it need? Okay. We're gonna merge a few of these because we got a lot of polygons that we don't need, but I think that's good enough. Let's turn off this. Alt save our scene. Kill the ZBrush. And then all we're going to do is just grab the innermost edges, i.e. these ones, push that in quite a lot. Okay, we're going to push that over quite a lot. Let's just kind of enforce that tuck that it's got. Add the edge flow. So add the edge flow. That. We need these guys to come backwards and also up. And we need to kind of close this stuff. Pull that up, pull that back over. There we go. So now that we've got these in place, we need to edge flow this guy. Same with, well, you're fine. It's this guy, so we need to grab these bottom edges, pull them up, like that. Okay, we're gonna grab those as well. And just scale them in slightly. Then we're just going to grab these guys, slide edge. Okay, we're just going to add edge flow this guy. And slide it up. Okay, this will need quite a lot of sculpting, but I think it's fine for the most part. Although we do need to, like, by hand fix some of these areas. That wasn't a pun. Okay, so let's get the relax topo tool. Sculpting, relax, and we need. Come on. Oh, it's not live surface made. It's object X, I guess. Oh, come on. Let me change the brush size. There we go. This is like the nice topo tool. That's how I tend to treat it. Cool. There we go. Now we may need to flatten it a bit. Something like... There we go. So now let's fix the normals. Mesh display. Gonna do soften and harden edge. Let's go 4. I think we need these to be as far back as they are. There we go. We got a little bit of a shelf going on here. So let's just grab these two, edit edge flow, inflate up slightly. Grab these two, edit edge flow. Slide these. There we go. Do we want extra loops for knuckles? Let's fix the normals first. Unlock, set to face, soften edge. Duplicate that. Something like that will do. Knuckles are a bit strong, aren't they? Oh, YouTube's buffering. Why though? I think for the most part that will work. It's 47,000 polygons for the body. And 2,000 for the face. If we smooth the face, 8,000 for the face, that feels a lot more reasonable. Then it's 6,000 for the ears. I think that feels about right to me. Okay. So I guess before we start connecting fingers, we need to get everything kind of in place. So in terms of like get the rest of the body topo like ready to go. So we're just gonna proxy the position of all these. How many polygons so far? In total, once it's all connected, the body head is in hands will be, I think, 70,000 polygons. Scale in object. Okay. So what things do we need to resolve? We need to resolve the arm twist. So we can do that now. Let's just split there. Let's go to topology. Split you. Cool. And we're going to mesh, separate. So we want this loop here to be 2 edges that way. So all we're going to do is just grab you, going to set you as a live surface, and so it was this edge, which is the middle. But no, that edge is the middle. I just need that. We need this to be there. So it's quad draw. Okay, I'm not going to worry yet about the actual distribution of it. I just want them to line up. Okay, that's lining up. And then this one back here needs to be there. So again, let's just quad draw that. Okay, quad draw, let's just there we go. So that's the middle. That's the middle. So that means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on this side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on that side. Cool, so those are the two middles. So then let's get that smoothed out. We need to smooth you out this way. Okay, let's keep that moving this way. Cool, so now we've got all that. We can just do this. Cool. And that has twisted. Okay, that's still the middle line. That's close enough. So let's just combine these again. Oh, did that not mirror? It didn't mirror. Let's turn that off. Combine. Okay, and grab that center loop again. Topology. We're just going to quad draw this guy. Turn off. Oh, that's not what I wanted to turn off, but okay. Cool. So now if we get the center line of the fingers, and I fucked up. It went one too far. Let's just bridge it this time. Now if we select the middle line of fingers, it goes all the way to the arm, comes back on itself. Sick. Quad draw to smooth the whole thing out. What's a good resource to learn full body topology? Not me. For my next project I'm going to do a model of Venom. It's pretty much a naked guy with a monster face. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not the resource to learn from on topology. I just kind of throw polygons at problems. I don't really care about like render budgets and shit. I don't really know what the best resources would be, to be honest. It's not an area I particularly specialize in. I'd imagine flip normals have some nice stuff, but I really can't say. Okay, so we got that. Let's just, again, delete the right side. Cool. And then we're just going to mirror that again. Cool. Okay, we got that. Quad draw with symmetry in WorldX. Just need to smooth the lower leg there. But WorldX is slower than topology symmetry, so let's do that instead. Topology. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. Cool, so now is where we start. Well, I guess we're not going to smooth the body until we got all the head done, right? Okay, I'm just going to call that body block geo. So what I'm wondering is, do I need to smooth the head to put it to the ears? I think I do. I mean, I don't have to, I can edge terminate. But before I do that, I need to make sure that I've got the loops that I want on the actual head. Because currently there's a few things missing. That the overall loops are there, but I don't particularly like how a few of my areas are working. So I'll get to those in a moment. Let me just smooth this out. Yeah, it's not got symmetry. Okay, so let's do topology symmetry. Quad draw. Smooth all this out. Gets a much nicer result. But yeah, so before we smooth all this stuff, we're gonna need to make the mouth bag and everything. At least have it ready to connect. What I'm wondering about is, do I need to have more going on here? Or is this okay? Yeah, so we're going to need another loop there to kind of add the eye crease. What's my actual final poly count for like John Singer Sargent? I think I'm curious. I know I've got breakdowns of FK twigs. I don't know if I have any topology renders of. Well, I can look at Pero. In fact, I did put up a topology render of John Singer Sargent. There we go. Okay. Yes, this is quite a lot lower poly in comparison. This is also higher poly. But this gives us so much power to kind of tuck things in. I think we will go subdivision higher. I just need to figure out how I'm going to handle areas like this for one, but also areas like the eye bag and the mouth bag. Like, do I connect them now while it's low poly, and then just separate them before smoothing? Or before reprojecting, sorry. Okay. I need to get the horns as well, don't I? Let's quickly throw those in. I'm not sure. Like, could I make it work if I just, like, smooth the fuck out of these edges? Because they do go back on themselves. And that would allow me to add more polygons. So I could, like, subdivide just the hand. Or so I could just, I wouldn't have to worry about all this, but then the neck is going to be considerably lower poly. Because already this is a bit of a mismatch. But then the moment this gets smoothed, that they just aren't connecting without substantial edge termination. A bit too much, to be honest. Just a random question, but is it still good practice to show topology of a topology render of a model if you use the base mesh, and obviously specified in the description? When I was a student, I did that. I did it once because I used like the ear topology of a scan for one of my characters, and looking back, it wouldn't have helped me. Like, if I was reviewing that now, if I was hiring someone, which granted I wouldn't for modeling because I'm not a modeler, if I was hiring someone and they did a wireframe render of someone else's wireframe, I'd be kind of like, why are you showing me this? Because it's not your work. Like, your modeling is obviously like, you know, changing the shapes, but if the topology is like someone else's, showing the topology is like, hey, look, I use someone else's cool topo. It's like, yeah, I mean, you'll do that all the time in studio, but like, it feels like a bit of a useless bit of information for a recruiter or for someone doing recruiting. It's obviously your call. Like, you handle it however you want. It's your portfolio. But my personal thing would be, it feels like a bit of a waste of time. Because you're not demoing what you can do. You're demoing what you found. Yeah, we're just going to smooth the model. Okay, cool. So, am I happy with the topology? Other than density, I think I am. I think I'll still show top of things like clothes and stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you made, like, if you do a model that has a base mesh and then you like retopos sections of it, then yeah, absolutely show a wireframe render because you're showing what you have done. Just make sure you specify, hey, this, this bit was done by whoever, like wherever it downloaded the base mesh from, and then just take credit for the bits that you did yourself. So if it's clothing, add that. Like, it's entirely your call though. As long as you credit anyone else's work, then I don't see any issues really. Okay, I'm gonna smooth the body, I think. Do we smooth it now or do we wait? I think we wait. Okay, let's get the horns in. So I'm just gonna do 8, a loop of 8. So let's just go quad draw. Cool. Where's my pen? There it is. Okay, that's the front. Side. 3/4. Back. 3/4. Connected. That works. Hey, Katie. Yeah, Topo's looking clean, but it is high poly. Like, even for film standards, I'm using a lot of unnecessary polygons. But that's why I always add the disclaimer of, hey, I'm not a modeler. Like, don't use the amount of polygons I'm using as like a, hey, that's how they do it in industry. Like, sometimes, yes. Most of the time, not quite. But then I've got a very high pain threshold for personal projects in terms of how much topology I use. Okay, time for a trick. Circularize components. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, obviously I can't show you, like, topology that I use at work, like, in terms of, like, what I receive in my scenes, but there are examples online of, like, actual film topology. I normally post them in the Ulster Discord in artist references. You'll see in there, like, there is stuff that's much higher poly than what I've done here, but they're normally, like, extremely hero characters, like, things that will be full screen all the time. And that's something that this character... And technically it is, I'm going to be rendering a shit ton of close-ups to this thing. But it's not quite the same. Right, we need to multi-cut from you to you. And from you to you. Okay, and then we're just going to insert a loop right there, and just try to smooth these up. In fact, let's just move it all up. Maybe we should just... Okay, let's turn it off for a moment. Average vert. Yeah, like characters like, well, I don't know if Hulk is that high poly, is he? Screenshots I've seen aren't particularly high poly. Granted, I haven't worked on a Hulk asset, so I'm not entirely sure like what they did for the Avengers, but what do I call it? The Thanos asset is very high poly. The Terminator Genesis model was very, very high poly to the point where, like, breakdowns available online, you can't see the wireframe. It just looks like it's grey shaded. Like, I remember, if I remember correctly, like it had the wrinkles in the lips were in topology, which, funnily enough, isn't the only time I've seen that. I have seen that in other places, but it would be NDA for me to say where. You okay? Becca's cough was so well timed. I thought she was trying to stop me something. Okay, there we go. So now we're gonna select this guy. Quad draw. I still need to figure out what the hell these horns are made of. Like if they're keratin based or if they're kind of fleshy. Like Katie and I discussed it briefly a while ago, but I'm still not sure on execution, like how I'll make them. Do you think you're better at sculpting female or male characters? Definitely male. But I feel like in most people's cases they're better at sculpting their own gender. Like, I don't know why that is. I mean, men are much easier to sculpt as well, because generally speaking, we have more kind of extreme angles. Obviously not all men, I mean, I'm round as fuck, but, like, most guys are a lot more kind of angular than most women, which kind of makes things a little bit easier to sculpt. Babies are fucking insane to sculpt. Like, awful, awful things. Reasons not to have children, they are difficult to sculpt. That'd be the most CG artist way of doing it. Okay, there we go. So now we just mirror that guy. Cool. Then hide him for a moment. Preview map. Then we're gonna go. In fact, let's kill off some of the polygons before we do any of that. Let's go collapse edge. Just gonna kill off any areas where it's arbitrarily dense. Tried having a conversation with a baby. Yes, what do we call it? My brother is 15 years younger than me. So I tried many times to have conversations with a baby and it doesn't work very well. There are videos on with me and him on Facebook though, which are still adorable to watch. I miss the baby babble stage of my brother. Baby babble is the cutest shit.
You never got to see the baby babble.
What's that?
You never got to see my baby babble of my cousin as he comprehended how many toys my dog had. He just like kept walking over to like the massive toys that Daisy has in her bed and would like throw his hands in the air like little lambs and just say, "What the fuck, guys?" Like, you know, was like, "Blah blah blah blah," and he would like walk over to the dog and like point at the dog and then point at the toys and just tell the dog how many toys you have. You know, like it was like a little lamb just being like, "How dare you have this many?"
It's like they don't have... I know, right? Why can't they speak properly? Jeez. Okay, so let's go to world topology in this guy. In fact, let's... Thing is, I know adults who are like worse at vocab than children, which always makes me laugh. Okay, I don't like what this area is doing. Okay. I reckon we start with eye bags. So how many edges do we have? We have 32. Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, my mind was blown. Because it's really hard to plan for that kind of thing. The nice thing with that is it lets us... Oh, I can delete this now. Nice thing with that is it lets us smooth 1632. Okay, then we're just going to... I'll need to import the eyes into this scene to like properly map this. But let's just go... Let's think for a moment. Deform, sculpt deformer. Cool. And then to get this, I've got to duplicate it, smooth it twice, I guess, to get something that's really smooth. Set that as a live object, then get you, quad draw. We're going to okay, and we just basically want to force these circular loops because like at the front it's a quad, like a grid topology, but on the sides it's like this loop around. So I want this loop around to be really close to the front. The way I can do that is just insert a bunch of loops here, like that, and then smooth that. And if I keep adding loops near the front, it's just going to keep forcing that circle closer and closer to the front, which is the way I did eyes as well. There we go. We don't need to add more at the front. Let's just do that. Okay. Alt save because we haven't saved this entire stream. Okay, so we just want to delete this front section now. And then we need to invert the normals of this guy. So mesh display, reverse. Need to turn off two-sided lighting. Going to assign preview map. Might need to turn off all the other layers as well, but we'll see. But yeah, actually we'll need to disable like everything past here. So actually all the stuff we were doing earlier was kind of pointless. But oh well. Okay, so scale it up. Scale it to roughly the size of the eyelid. Something like that. And this will basically contain the eye. So I need to put it like here or something. Positioning of this isn't too important. Okay, then we mirror this guy. Which puts them both there. Okay, we're going to combine those two. Oh wait, we wanted to add some more here, right? Okay, I'm going to... Let's think for a moment. What's the best way for him to do this? Or should I just leave it? Fuck it, I'll leave it. I'm already starting to burn out in the project, so I need to be careful how much time I spend worrying about stuff that doesn't matter. At least within the context of this project. So let's do a combine. Okay. Then we're just going to do world X symmetry. Solo this guy. And then, oh, what I need to find out actually is it 32 on each side? 30, oh shit. Okay, so that's 32, and then that's 32. Okay. So we need to get the top 32 with this one, which is nice and easy to find. And bridge that to the top 32 of this one. Just bridge. Okay. Then we'll bridge all this as well. And then all we have to do is insert a loop here. We're going to inflate that in to kind of get a somewhat consistent eyelid depth. So do something like that. And this will help the eyelids feel a bit more fleshy. And we add another loop there, do the same thing again. For the most part, that will do what we need, although this is a little bit too far forward. And then the corners, we need to undo that basically, because we need these things to be kind of straight on, like that. There we go. And we're just gonna spend a little bit of time tweaking the position of all this. This just helps it smooth a little bit better, I've found. I have less issues with the topo if I do that. Now we can just edit edge flow this guy, edit edge flow this guy, edit edge flow him again, edit edge flow him, edit edge flow him. And then, again, just push that, push that, push that. Okay. We now have inner eyes. I wish the mouth bag would be the same amount. So you're going to use Katana Renderer for this project? Yes, I'll be using Katana. I will be using it with Arnold, as I did with the last project. Like, Katana itself isn't a renderer. Katana is just a scene assembly tool. Right, how many edges are in here? This is going to be horrible, isn't it? 20, so it's 10 on each side. So you just need to be extruded. Something like that. Now, I do need to look into like inner nose anatomy. After the call with Laura Outgang, I kind of want to put some effort into doing proper inner nose anatomy. Okay, so it's 5 edges on each side, which does mean it's a little bit awkward. Fill hole. In fact, I can leave that as an open hole for now. I need to look into like MRIs of noses and see what the hell all this does, because it follows like this over here should be like out there somewhere, right? Like it does follow the kind of wings of your nostrils. I love the fact they're called wings. Like the actual name for them. At least if I remember correctly, that's the name. This allows it to sit a little bit better. Push that out that way. There we go. Get a little bit better. A little bit better deformation in there, subsurface. Not deformation, wrong word. Okay, then we're just going to grab you, edit edge flow. In fact, we'll get rid of you, and edit edge flow on you again. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay, we'll just artificially do it like that. Okay, edit edge flow. Sweet. Laura's MVP. Yeah, Laura's great. Like, that call was my first ever time interacting with her, and she was really pleasant to talk to. Now, this bit in here, doesn't that like immediately dive in? Like, doesn't it do that? I think it does, actually. Let's do two-sided lighting. That'll help. Yeah, the thing that like broke me and a few of my friends in the edit was when she asked me about like kind of my career. I said how my first job was at NPC in Groom, and it was on The Greatest Showman. And then she found a clip from The Greatest Showman where someone says, "Better luck on your next job." And I was like, what are the chances of her finding that? I don't know if she watched the entire movie to find that, because I doubt she knew it off the top of her head. But I did find that very funny. Right, so we got the nose. Mouth bag. Right. Mouth bags are the fucking worst. I think I'm going to model teeth and gums and tongues separately for this asset. I'm not going to try to model it all into one piece. Which does mean I can get away with a little bit more bullshit than usual in terms of modeling the mouth bag. In this case, it means I can literally just kind of extrude it back and then fix the model from here, essentially. So I can scale it like this. I can grab these, pull them down, grab these, pull them up, and then just kind of rinse, repeat. Inflate that. And then, yeah, we're just going to kind of keep going through until we got a vague shape that's like somewhat organic. We could run circularized component, but I'm not going to. Is the culture of crunch really bad in VFX, or is it only certain studios? It varies, like, studio to studio, show to show, client to client, director to director. Personally, I've never went through an extreme crunch. I've been through... I can't say the project. There's one project where I did have to crunch for like a few weeks, but that was pretty minor. It depends a lot actually on what department you're in. Like if you're in comp, you will be crunching. Like it's a really sad reality of the role, but comp crunches a lot. In Groom, we almost never crunched. Again, I crunched on one project during my Groom days. It was ridiculous. I was doing a lot of hours over... I think I was working 7 days a week for like 3 weeks, but it was a one-off for me, and it was a case of something being fucked up and having to jump in and rescue it, not necessarily like a planning thing going wrong. It was more like an artist problem. So I can't talk any details on it at all, but yeah, there was one project where I've had to crunch. Granted, I am aware of a lot of crunchy projects. Like, it's just the way our industry is sometimes, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Okay, can I extrude edge? So all this should actually be near the front, shouldn't it? Actually, the throat isn't that big, is it? It's actually quite a lot smaller than that. So I'm going to extrude edge, bring that down this way, rotate it down that way. Now I can circularize it. So let's go circularize component. Scale it way down. No, scale it down with symmetry turned off. So that it actually scales towards the center. Because the throat itself is quite small. It's like that big. And then we can edit edge flow. This guy. Inflate. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do for the mouth itself is insert a loop right here and just push that, not to pass completely for itself everywhere, but just to kind of close the lips. And then it's just a case of reinforcing that. It will intersect. I think there's not a huge amount we can do about that. I can try to scale it, but then we start to flatten out the curve of the lip. Is there another way for me to... Okay, we're just going to fix this on its own. Is that the one that's visible from the surface? Kinda. Wondering if doing it like that was actually the wrong way. What I need to do is extrude that in. We'll leave it for now. Right, so that's actually kind of helpful. Yeah, so that can thin out quite a lot actually. I'm just going to insert a loop right there, pull this forward, I need to learn how big the mouth bag is. I guess it just fits the skull, right? So I need to kind of take a look at some skull refs. So now we got that. We need to symmetrically close this guy, which is going to require me bridging those two. Bridge, and fill holes on both sides. And how many loops is this around again? It's 52. Such an awkward number. Like, literally it just needs, like, 2 loops less. But then we kind of need all the polygons we've got here, so... Either way, it does generally mean that if we find the middle of this, so how many is that? Actually, I've got bonus tools. There's a tool for this, I think. Modeling. Convert n-sided polygon. Yeah, okay, let's fill hole. Let's see what this does. Bonus tools, modeling. Great job. Okay. Let's go add some symmetry. Right, we'll go on that edge actually, because he's not going to change. Topological symmetry. We're just going to multi-cut. In fact, actually, I need to get into the habit of using other tools. So there's a connect components. Yep, there we go. Okay. Can I... That's 1, 2, wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think we can go one more. Okay. And then we want to connect those two, which I need to do out of symmetry mode apparently. Let's turn off symmetry. Skip one. Can I not connect these? Okay, apparently not. So we do need multicut for these. Multicut. Okay. Do the same at the bottom. Then it's gonna skip every other one. In fact, I should be able to just connect them manually now, right? No, that doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? Is there an advantage to modeling the teeth and gums into the main model? Yes. Primarily, though, if you're going to be doing a lot of open mouth animation. It doesn't make a big difference in models where you wouldn't see the gums, for example. Well, it never makes a big difference per se. Like, a lot of even big studios don't even model it all into one piece. In creatures, you would very often connect it. Like, you'd have the gums modeled in. The reason it changes is basically just based on how you're going to animate the mouth. Will the gums ever be shown? And... oh, 1 second. I may need to... yeah, that looks about even. Okay, so let's just extrude this. To verts. But yeah, it's better for subsurface, and it's slightly better for general appearance, but it doesn't make a huge difference. And this question is blue. Is the best retopo Maya or Zero Mesh? Oh, is it best to retopo in Maya or Zero Mesh? Before adding skin imperfections for character. I wish I could show you my work on your Discord. You can show me your work on Discord. As long as you've verified, you can post stuff in the web chat. And all you have to do for verify is a capture. What, sorry? Damn it, Becca. The edge flow. What I might do is just throw all this in, and we can sculpt it in ZBrush, so I get the actual shape. Because I can polygroup this quite easily. Let's just add some polygons at the back here. Okay. But yeah, sorry, to just answer your question. So, in terms of is it better, it depends entirely on what you're going to do. If you're just sculpting something for the sake of sculpting it, and you don't really care about animation, then just zero mesh it. There's no reason to go through a full retopo process. If you want to rig something and have animation, zero mesh isn't really good enough yet to do that. Like it's fine, and I'll be using it on this project for the clothing, but it's not good enough for like riggers to be kind of comfortable with it, basically. I'm gonna need to fix that area up quite a lot. There we go. We have a mouth bag, we have nose, which we now need to close up. Let's fill a hole. Connect components. So it does work. And And we just need to... So it only works in the first direction that you do it. So weird. Oh, maybe it's because it has to place vertices in the middle, so it doesn't like doing that. Okay, so let's mirror that. There we go. Thanks for giving an amazing response to my question. I ask way too many questions sometimes. Oh, don't worry, man. Like, you're not asking too many questions. I've definitely had more in the past. Like, ask whatever questions you want. Do I smooth this? I think I do. So we're starting to get a taste of poly counts now. Like, this current polygon count, if I smooth this... it's page down, right? Yeah, there we go. So smoothing that once gives me 17,000 polygons. Oh, sorry, yeah, 17,000 polygons. Smoothing this once gives me 4,000. I'm not going to be smoothing that. And smoothing you once gives me 47,000. So if I select all these now, that'd be the poly count, roughly. 75,000. So it'll be 80,000 by the time I've patched at the back of the head. So it is high poly for a base mesh, but it's not unreasonable. Like, I've seen more. Why do you have everything separate? A mix of performance and being able to work on things in separate areas. Like, if you connect everything up right away, inserting loops becomes quite dangerous. Like, if I decide, oh hey, I need an extra loop of topology here, like let's say this cheek was too sparse in my opinion, I could insert a loop right there, and then space it out. If I had the body connected, what would have happened is that polygon, that loop would have gone all the way down, and it might have ended up in the finger for no reason, so one finger's way higher poly now. If you work section by section, and then add them all together, it allows you to add loops in a controlled way, and then you terminate the loops only when you're at the end and you're actually ready to do so. But yeah, I think this model is gonna be like 200k polygons once you got the eyes and stuff in there. This is gonna be it's gonna be heavy. Considering I got like a Facebook memory recently of a character I did in 2014, which the full character was like 4,000 polygons. Like, and now I'm like, my eyeballs are more than 4,000 polygons. It's not a case of leveling up, it's a case of just like, obviously I have gotten better since then. I'm doing more with the polygons, but yeah, that was, it was a funny model to look at. Okay. So that's all working. Becca. It is a question. It's not a question I want to answer. What, sorry? Your nickname? What's your nickname in the server? Oh, Little Miss, I want a custom role too. Where she said that? I demand that you are the only person, I'm the only person you speak to. That's a healthy relationship. Have you ever considered teaching a classroom about polygons in 3D? No. No, I haven't. And I won't. I think these mean, like, topology. I haven't taught topology. I've never taught topology. Nah, I don't feel equipped to teach that. Like, I'm good enough to teach Groom. I'm good enough to teach look dev. Texturing is kind of weak. Like, I can texture, I can make something that looks good, but I can't do it consistently without difficulty. And like, in my opinion, if you're teaching something, you should know it through and through. Which is why, like, I always say, oh hey, I'm not a modeler. I'm not saying that because, hey, like, I think I'm shit at modeling. I'm decent at modeling. but I'm not a professional modeler, so I don't know what actual good practice looks like. I just know what works for me. And even if I was a modeler, if I'd only been a modeler at one studio for like a year or two, I still wouldn't feel confident to teach it. The only reason I feel confident teaching groom and look dev is because I've been doing them both for a while, both professionally and non-professionally. At this point, I can quite what's the word I'm looking for? Reliably hit what I need to hit. Comfortably. That was the word I was originally looking for, but reliably also works. But I can reliably hit the notes that I need to hit, which is now why I feel confident to teach those, because I have a firm grasp on it. But yeah, modeling, I don't have a firm grasp on. Hence why earlier, like, poly modeling a hand, a finger, should be really easy. Like, I mean, it is easy, but not for me. I still found a way to find it difficult. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I just... There's a few things that bother me a lot, and one of them is teachers who shouldn't be teachers. They just make me irrationally angry. Yeah. I'm not going to go on about it too much because it will work me up. But I'm also realizing how different the polygon density on the nose and the bridge of the nose is. There's not many ways for me to fix that. Like, I can obviously close these up, but then that removes polygons here. And to fill that back out, I need to add polygons here. So then I'm going to end up with really uneven loops around the eyes. So I'm going to not bother to, like, fix it. I know, right? I think overall this topology is pretty clean, though. Like, the loops are going where I want. But this is what I mean, like, when I say I'm not a professional modeler. So, really, the polygon density around the face should be roughly equal. So obviously there's going to be areas that are lower poly than others, and there's going to be areas where you need polygons, like the eyelids. But like the difference in polygon size here to here is very large, and here to there also very large. There to there also very large. Like this is like a quarter the size. Now that will have an effect on displacement, on sculpting, on UVs to some extent. So it's just like it's something that shouldn't be that way. Granted, again, there are areas that are forced to be denser, like, you know, this area is always going to be more dense than this area, and the loops are going to go that way. So there's always a kind of a trade where, like, polygon uniformity requires weird topo sometimes, and that weird topo sometimes causes more issues than it fixes. But this isn't a good example of that. This is an example of just not planning the loops properly. A really good example of it, actually, is if you go into Outgang. Laura's doing some Blender face retopo lessons, and they're actually really good examples of what it should look like. For separating parts, you just delete the loop and bridge the two pieces. Can you show it, please? Yeah, I mean, it's you've explained it perfectly. I don't think I need to show it, but basically, like, when I go back to working on this topology, once I've subdivided it, I will disconnect the inside of the eye just by going like that. Split that into its own object so that I can freely retopologize and smooth this outer mesh without affecting the shape of the inside. And then when I'm done, I just go back in, select this guy, like combine them back to the same object, bridge these two bits, and then disable those, and bridge that. And that connects it all back up. And because it's only these edges that have been bridged, it doesn't have any effect on the shape or the actual topo. The vertex numbers, in fact, I think vert numbers will stay the same because it's only one edge that I'm deleting. So I think that's also fine. Edge numbers will change, but edge numbers aren't really important in most pipelines. So when I say edge numbers, I mean like the IDs for those edges, not the number of edges. I'm going to grab you. Okay, let's quad draw. I think we're ready to smooth this. Oh no, we need to connect at the back of the head. Alright, let's work on that. So we're going to... What the fuck was that? Okay, let's do Wildex. We're just going to get all this. So connecting the ears is going to be a nightmare. Do you plan on grooming the hair for Mona? Yep, absolutely. But when you connect the head to the neck and the mesh differs too much, will it match automatically? Oh no, if that's what you meant. No, connecting the head to the neck, I will have to manually retoppo that. I can't just do a bridge tool. If you want me to demo that now, no, because that will force me to work out of sequence, and I need to work in sequence to get through this. So we got that working. For erection or fiber mesh, those are not competing tools. XGen in this case, fiber mesh isn't a groom tool. Fiber mesh is a extremely basic approximation of groom, just for the sake of sculptors being able to make stuff. I do see this pop up quite a lot though. Like I saw it in the Flip Normal streams recently. People were asking like, oh, you know, what's better, XGen or fiber mesh? Like, I feel like people need to make videos explaining how fiber mesh is not a groom tool. Like, yes, it makes fibers, but there's a very, very big difference between like a groom tool that has modifiers and ZBrush letting you sculpt curves. There's a very, very big difference between them. Stretch all this out a little bit and smooth it. There we go. Clog drawer. So we need to go over the ear. And then I guess I think this is going to be where we connect up, like that. We may need to clear this area, but we'll get back to that. See, now would be a really good time for Topo Gun. Because Topo Gun allows you to draw patches, and it will fill in for you. Which is such an amazing tool that I don't have, and I'm not going to pay a few $100s or like $100, however much it costs, just to quickly fill in the skull of this character. Okay, just going to move that up. Okay, then the corner is going to be U, which means doing that. So this entire bit is going to be kind of crazy. Because I'm going to have to like turn this from 3 edges into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's really satisfying. Okay, so let's hook that up. Then we need one more edge here. We have to ignore this guy. which is actually quite easy to do, really. I'm going to manually add this because we need to carve a hole for this. And then 1, 2. We need to turn history off. It's gonna delete history on that. There we go. Then 1, 2. Okay. Then we're going to just do that. Connect these two up. Like that. Now, we do have a bit of a problem in that this is 8 and this is 12. But there's our skull mostly filled in at the top. Now we just need to kind of add loops here until it feels a bit more uniform and square. I'm wondering if it's worth... Do we have a version of the head like without the horns? I don't know if we do. So what I might need to do here is turn... This is pretty ugly. Yeah, we need that to be another edge loop, don't we? So having the horns actually kind of messes this up a little bit. How am I going to go about that? This all needs to be pulled in quite a lot as well. Might need to go into ZBrush and just quickly extract the head on its own. Probably stream for another half hour, and wherever we're up to at the end of that is where I'll leave it. We won't have finished the retop up by then. What, sorry? I probably will hang out in Discord. I'm not sure. I might finish a retop out in Discord, to be fair. Oscar's in there.
He's in there his own. Oscar! Come back to us.
Okay, well, just for the fun of it, how about we end the stream here, and we're going to continue it in Discord, so I can actually like chat to you guys. Because that's kind of a good place to end this stream, just because like we just got to fill in some quick holes. Yeah, alright, cool, fuck it. I'm going to end the stream here. I'll jump into Discord. If anyone wants to jump into the voice chat, by all means join. But yeah, I'll stream again Tuesday, just because Monday we're going to see a film. Oh, also, a public service announcement. If you saw Knives Out, it's on Netflix, incredible film. The sequel to it is in cinemas for 1 week, like starting a few days ago. So if you've seen Knives Out, Glass Onion is currently in the cinema. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say if it's worth seeing, but I feel like it will be, given it's a sequel to Knives Out. Go watch it. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to end the stream there. I'll see some of you in Discord. It'd be nice to chat to some people. And yeah, we'll figure out where we're going from there. Alright, see you guys.